Question: if a developer and or publisher cease to support a game online that requires an online component, should we be allowed to do whatever is necessary to keep playing it? The EFF, Electronic Frontier Foundation, and the ESA, Electronic Software Association, are kind of doing this over gaming. And the idea is there's such a thing as abandonware in terms of like PC and so forth, where the game's no longer supported at all. The publisher's gone, it's defunct. No one owns the game, so it's free for everyone to use. There aren't a whole lot of them out there that are, frankly, that good to argue over, but they're out there. And there's a movement to preserve these games. And there are games that now in the online digital age where there's a lot of gray area, where a game like, say, MAG, or certain online games such as the last Mortal Kombat and others, some of them become completely unplayable without an online component. MAG being one of them, Battlefront 2 being one of them, with the exception of the campaign. But there are online-only games that are just abandoned. And the question being raised by the EFF is, can we modify the game so we can use third-party servers so we can continue to play together? And the ESA is saying absolutely not. In the case of console games, here's why this is important. They're saying that in order for the game to be playable on a third-party server, in many cases you have to bypass the copyright on the game console itself so that it can go to a different server, which requires modifying the firmware, which opens the door to piracy. In other words, they're scared this will open up the doors for game piracy on these older consoles. You know, the ones they're not supporting anymore. So I don't know if I have the answer to this, but I think that there has to be a middle ground, meaning that if the association is so concerned about the modified firmware being the issue, why not appeal to the manufacturers of the hardware to say, hey, how can we facilitate this for the sake of preservation and still preserve your firmware? I mean, I'm going to be honest with you. The EFF, if they're that serious about it, they should put up the development costs, which I think is fair, or put out a Kickstarter for folks that want to play these games so we can crowdfund firmware for all the consoles that we can do this with on games that are no longer supported, and then try to have some kind of unified, some type of uniform means of accomplishing this per platform so that it's not just open to hacking and pirating. I think there's a middle ground somewhere. And the EF's going, everything should be free. And the ESC's going, no, I don't like pirates. Brr, I like ninjas. And they have to figure out which is going to be the rule. And I think the rule is somewhere in here. It's in the heart. What do you guys think? Is the ESA full of shit, or is the EFF full of shit? Or are they both full of shit and we should just be able to play our games and everyone should stay out of it? You be the judge. Let me know. Thanks for watching. Thanks for subscribing. And as always, keep on grinding. Cheers.